YouTube, what is going on? It's that motherfucking time. Yes, yes it is. We about to give you the Twinkie of the year. Okay, yes, it's that exclusive. All right, so been a lot of games this year. I'm about to give my verdict on which one is the best out of all of them because I played them all. So here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, so we'll talk about what the nominees are. First and foremost, I'm getting distracted here. I got a lot of shit on my desk. Okay. All right. First and foremost, this is not game of the year, but it's something I will put up there as a nominee. Why is this not game of the year? Okay, so multiplayer is great, best multiplayer ever for Call of Duty game. That's not saying a lot. 'Cause up until this point, hated Call of Duty, absolutely despised it, and there's still some things about it I do. So yeah, I played a good 2/3 of the game. I mean, there's the zombies, there's the multiplayer, and then yeah, there's campaign. Couldn't really give you a verdict on the campaign because, you know, there's not one time that I've sat down to play campaign and, you know, the thing just froze on me completely and totally frozen. So yeah, once I manage to make it through, maybe I'll be able to, you know, come back and change my opinion. But yeah, I can't really, you know, give a game that good of a verdict if I can't even fucking play it. So yeah, not game of the year. What else do we have here? And this is just games I have on hand, you know, like where I can't find Assassin's Creed 3, but yeah, not game of the year because I can't make it through that one either. Well, no, I have run into a couple of game breaking glitches. Like there's a couple random times where I was just walking and then my guy just shot up like 50 feet in the air and then he came down and died. Yeah, awesome, sweet, love that experience. But see, I like the first two. I really like the first two. I didn't like this one because they slowed down the pace a bit for me. So not game of the year. Pretty good game though. Pretty good game. You know, a bit more detailed. Combat was, and it's still the same. That's another thing too. It's more of the same, but I can't really fault the game for that. This game right here, not game of the year. I know a lot of people, some internets actually hate it. It's better than what I think most people give it credit for. I myself at first had to sort of take a break and then come back to it. But this, not game of the year. So, what else? What does that leave me with? So we'll talk into now that we've talked about what's not good. We'll talk about what is. So MOBA of the year. I will give MOBA of the year to Awesome Knots because Awesome Knots is dope and I don't know. It's just a really good MOBA game. This is a good game in general. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into too much why, because this isn't a review. This is just me telling what my game of the year is in different categories. But I will say, most definitely MOBA of the year will be Awesome Knots. I don't think there are any other new MOBAs that have came out this year that I've played though. So, but really right now, though, is probably my favorite MOBA. Like I like it over League, and Dota. Dota technically isn't out, but that's neither here nor there. I guess that's technicality. Um, what other categories can I go get into? As far as just raw first-person shooter goes, my favorite for this year, I'd give that one to Black Ops, just because the shooting aspect of it, multiplayer, fair and balanced. I don't know. It depends on what you're playing because the game sort of fits a lot of different roles depending on what game type you're playing. Um, you know, so really, game type and map change the way things work so much in within the context of each other that it's really hard to tell if everything's balanced. I can think of one or two guns off the top of my head that are absolute garbage, no matter what way you cut it. The Type 25, absolute trash gun. I wouldn't piss on that thing. Let me think here too. All right, so RPG of the year, I give that one up to good old BL2. And really, truly, I'll have to take what I said about Black Ops back because this is really just the best shooter in general of the year. It's you know, I mean, Call of Duty's fun for what it is, but I really think taking a different take on what the shooter experience is and sort of taking that genre and allowing it to do other things. I just think all of it really came together real well for this game. And right off top, if you guys, while you're watching this video and taking a guess of what I would say the best, I would say most definitely whatever's gonna come out of my mouth, keep this in mind. That's the best game of the year. Best fighting game of the year, no arguing at all. Tag 2. There's no argument over that. I mean, was it Persona 4? Pretty fun game. What else came out? Cross Tekken, same thing. They have their flaws though. This is like one game right here. I don't have any complaints about. There's nothing I could say about it. Nothing I could say wrong. Like really, it's just perfection. As far as everything making sense, as far as gameplay goes, as far as content that you get, and just overall consumer value. There's no complaint that I have for that. And like I've said before in previous video, when I do manage to get my hands on a Wii U, I'll probably buy another copy of the game just because I love playing it that much. What else have I played? I've most of my stuff I've got is digital. I mean, there was a lot that I got on. What did I play on Xbox this year too? I'm trying to think if anything really sticks out to me. Yeah, I mean, some honorable mentions: Soul Calibur. There was Ninja Gaiden 3. That game was garbage. DOA 5 was garbage. Virtual Fighter 5 though, I wouldn't necessarily classify that as like within this year because Final Showdown came out a while ago, and I guess you could sort of make the same argument for Tag 2, but Tag 2 on console is a completely different game than what was released in the arcades last year. So and really none of us got to get our hands on it anyway. Same thing for final showdown. So I guess we could just classify it as something within this year. Um, yeah, I would say anybody that hasn't tried that one, try that one out. In a year's time, within the last year. Anything else worth mentioning? Not really. I got a role player that I would say is the best, and really everything that I think is the best is what I currently own. Because if I don't like it, I'm just gonna sell it. That's just how I am with games in general. Because I mean, there's a lot of them. I got a nice PC. If I wanted to play a good game, I could. There's plenty of free to play games that are awesome. Um, I will say one thing that I wouldn't be able to give an opinion on would be racing games. If any of you guys feel that maybe there's a racing game that's nominated for Game of the Year, leave a comment or whatever. But really, for me to buy a racing game or any game in general, first things first, game has to have split screen capabilities. Okay. Other than say like I just bought this God of War Saga, awesome value by the way. I got it on Black Friday, $15 for all 5 God of War games. It's like $3 a game. Other than that, I want to make sure that hey, if I have a friend over, we can play games together. I think it's sickening in my heart that there's so many damn games where it's online only multiplayer. Like we've had like I'm sure a lot of you remember GoldenEye. You know what I mean? Like okay, you know what I'm saying? Like back like damn near 15, 20 years ago, we could have split screen multiplayer, but we can't now because I guess their claim is that it's too intensive for what the engines or whatever. But there's plenty of games that do it, and a lot of games like Call of Duty, for example, it's just it's recycled anyway. I'm sure they found new ways to work with the engine inside of what hardware availability is, because they do it all the time. I mean, look at the leaps and bounds they've made from the start of this generation to games like God of War 3 or Uncharted. Like, I mean, graphics capabilities, and people bitching about, oh, you got to run it twice. Well, whatever, run it at 30 frames per second for, split screen or whatever you got to do. So that's the first thing. I would say a nominee for worst game of the year. 2 worst games of the year, I'd have to nominate either Assassin's Creed 3 or Resident Evil 6, because those are games and it's not that they're difficult, it's just they bore me so much to play that I really can't finish. I really can't finish them. They just are that boring to play. So, that being said though, keep that shit moving. We're gonna give the Twinkie of the year to Twinkies Tag 2. You see? Twinkies Tag 2. Double the Twinkie. The final Twinkie. The greatest Twinkie. No, really though, like I said, the main reason why I have to, and really in my mind it's close between that and Borderlands 2, but I have to because I can't complain about the game. I really just can't. As far as like the gameplay goes, it's just so like, as far as a multiplayer game goes, I can't think of any other game that's more fair. That I mean, if you get screwed up in this game, you have no one to blame but yourself, and it rewards you for all the time that you spend in there. I mean, as far as progressive rewards, there is a gold system and all of that. You get rewarded for all the time you spend in game. Not something as stupid as say the class unlock system in Call of Duty, which here's my main issue with that is for gameplay based elements, I don't agree with holding any of that back from player for as much time as they do in Call of Duty games. Like, take for example the AN. Like AN, you have to get all the way to like level 55 to unlock it. But that's like a whole nother component of the game. It opens up a completely different play style because every gun, it essentially it changes your character. So I mean, it really opens up totally different strategies that you wouldn't know how to utilize or counter because you have to wait all the way until you're level 55 to have access to that tool. So, I mean, it would be stupid. Say, for example, it'd be like if you were playing Street Fighter and you had to play 600 matches before you were able to even use the uppercut with Ryu. Like, it would just be dumb. I mean, it works for people. People really love it, and it's a fun game outside of all that. But I personally don't agree with all of it as far as using that for your progressive system. I like the idea of having, costumes and things that are aesthetic and fun be tied to that. But I guess that's sort of an opinion-based matter. But really, as far as the gameplay itself goes, you just can't complain. As far as the animation of how everything is animated, I can't complain. It looks beautiful. As far as how the graphics look, it's just absolutely stunning game. As far as how it sounds, the soundtrack is, I mean, really since the games come out in Japan, I've been listening to the soundtrack in my iTunes over pretty much all other music in general. Like, I just love the soundtrack. I don't know. There's not enough good things I can say. So, and anybody that really thinks or feels otherwise can eat a fucking dick. Okay. And really, when I say that, I'm say IGN can eat a fucking dick. I think it would be the most funniest thing ever if IPL, their new IGN Pro League or whatever, picked up fucking Tekken after the review they gave it. They gave it like a 7 or something dumb like that. This is the game of the freaking year, people. Okay, I don't know what it is you're looking for a game, but you'll find it here. Okay, and the main thing I think that turns people off from fighting games in general, because I'm not trying to preach to anybody or talk you into thinking otherwise, because this is just my opinion, but that's because in fighting games there's a winner and there's a fucking loser. Okay, and a lot of people just can't deal with the fact that it's 50-50. You're either gonna win or you're gonna lose. Okay, when you win, you win. And when you lose, you lose. People just don't like to lose. And Call of Duty, for example, a game that everybody loves, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because in the end, you get rewarded regardless by them giving you gameplay elements that are part of the meta anyway. It's kind of like they're tricking you and you're going for it, but I mean, I guess that's how some people want to experience this shit. But yeah, game of the year. Twinkies tag 2, bitches.